In the endless night of the galaxy, silence carried meaning. For the alien conquerors, silence meant victory because silence followed destruction. When their fleets passed through a world, its signals ceased, its voices extinguished. So when Earth fell quiet, they celebrated. The invaders had expected a struggle. They had prepared for resistance. But instead, they found cities burning, oceans rising with smoke, and humanity scattered. The enemy believed it was over. The humans were finished. The silence of Earth was their proof. Yet in that silence, something else stirred. Hidden bunkers whispered with secret transmissions. Forgotten stations blinked faintly in the void, carrying fragments of code. The aliens didn't notice. Why should they? To them, humanity was a failed experiment, too fragile to survive the storm of war. But the galaxy had never learned the true nature of humans. For when stripped of everything, when burned and broken, humanity did not vanish. It waited, and silence became something far more dangerous. The aliens called themselves the Yevdrak, an empire of 1,000 victories. They cataloged Earth as just another ruined world. Reports filed, resources listed, resistance marked as extinct. But beneath the ruins, life endured. Children hid in shattered subway tunnels, playing among rusted tracks. Old men carried stories through the smoke. And in hidden vaults, engineers worked with shaking hands, piecing together machines from scraps of metal. The Yevdrak laughed at this. Their scholars said humans had no place in the stars. They were too fragile, too emotional, too chaotic. Compared to the empires that spanned galaxies, humanity was an insect. And yet, in the shadows of Earth, those insects sharpened their teeth. They remembered every strike, every loss, every scream. It was carved into their hearts like stone. The aliens thought silence meant death. But silence, for humans, was only preparation. And from ashes, something stronger was being forged. Far above, in the cold quiet of orbit, the Yevdrak patrol ships floated. Their scanners swept the Earth, searching for signals, searching for movement. But what they didn't see was more important than what they did. A ghost fleet drifted beyond the moon, silent, powerless, hidden among rocks and debris. Old human warships, thought destroyed, patched together with desperation and rage. No beacons, no transmissions, only silence. Inside, men and women waited, their uniforms scorched, their faces hollow, but their eyes sharp. They spoke little, conserving breath, conserving hope. Every second of stillness was a weapon. The aliens thought humans had surrendered. They mistook silence for defeat. But silence was patience. And patience, in war, was a blade sharper than any weapon. The ghost fleet listened, gathering whispers of alien movements. And slowly, carefully they prepared. The day of silence would not last forever. Soon, the galaxy would hear humanity's voice again, and it would roar. It began with a flicker. A single Yevdrak supply ship, drifting between Earth and its moons, received no warning. Its lights dimmed. Its systems died. From the shadow of an asteroid, a human warship emerged. Its hull was cracked, its weapons scarred, but its cannons still spoke. With one burst, the alien vessel was torn apart, shattered in silence. The Yevdrak dismissed it as an accident, a malfunction, a rogue asteroid. They didn't believe humans could still fight. But then another ship vanished. Then another. Each time, silence followed. No wreckage left, no signals broadcast. It was not open war. Not yet. It was whispers in the dark. Phantom strikes from an enemy they had declared dead. The Yevdrak began to fear the quiet, because silence no longer meant victory. Silence now meant humans were near, and humans had learned to kill in the shadows. Word spread through the broken colonies. On mining outposts, prisoners whispered of human strikes. On slave worlds, laborers raised their heads, hearing rumors of survivors. The galaxy had not seen humans in years. But now, whispers grew into belief. And belief grew into fire. The Yevdrak dismissed it as foolishness. But their fleets grew uneasy. They patrolled wider, spread thinner, trying to hunt ghosts. Meanwhile, Humans gathered. On ruined Earth, fires lit hidden caves where plans were made. In the cold void, forgotten fleets awakened their engines. They were no longer defending Earth. Earth was gone. Now, humanity had become something different. Not citizens of a single planet, but children of ashes. Survivors. Hunters. And hunters did not announce their presence. They struck when the prey least expected it. The aliens had burned their world. But in doing so, they had set humanity free. And freedom, once tasted, was impossible to kill. The galaxy began to notice. Yevdrak fleets vanished. Supply lines were cut, outposts destroyed, commanders assassinated in the dark. There were no declarations, no broadcasts, no demands. Only silence, followed by devastation. Other empires watched cautiously. Some mocked, others grew afraid. Because if a broken species from a single ruined world could strike like this, what would happen if they truly returned? The Yevdrak grew desperate. They unleashed fire upon entire sectors, hoping to root out the ghosts. But the ghosts had learned well. Every strike of alien fury only made humans stronger, angrier, hungrier. And slowly, the galaxy began to see the truth. Humanity had been underestimated. It was not weakness that defined them. It was the ability to endure, to lose everything, and still rise. The silence of Earth was not defeat. It was a warning, and the galaxy had failed to listen. Then came the day the silence ended. From deep space, across every channel, across every empire, one signal burned through. It was not a speech. It was not a plea. It was a single phrase, spoken in 1,000 languages. We are still here. The Yevdrak heard it first, trembling as their fleets collapsed. Other empires heard it next, realizing the ghosts were real. And across the galaxy, the silence broke into fear. For years, humanity had been quiet, but silence was never weakness. Silence was the coil of spring, the breath before the roar, the shadow before the fire. Now, the roar had come, the ashes had risen, and the galaxy would never forget the day humanity's silence became deadly. Because in the end, humans were not just survivors. They were a storm, and storms cannot be silenced.